Yeousch!
Who knew that we were all yearning for a return to that wonderful vision that the 1980s had of the 21st century? Red landscapes, neon green accents, cyborgs, Michael Biehn.
I came across time for you, Sarah.
This is apparently 2007.
It is the near future. The apocalypse has had an apocalypse.
A super soldier named Sloan has gone rogue. So you, another super soldier named Rex Power Colt, set out to keep him from using his rockets to blast the world back to the Stone Age. It's ridiculous. Ubisoft actually released the original teaser trailer for this game on April 1st. Totally ridiculous and not even completely believable. But that's the thing about Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. It's ridiculous on purpose, and it's awesome for it. Alright, first, the elephant in the room. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. So what is this game? DLC, an expansion, sequel, or prequel? While Blood Dragon wears the Far Cry 3 badge in its title, it has absolutely nothing to do with the plotline in Ubisoft's recent stellar open-world stealth shooter. And while you should absolutely play Far Cry 3 if you haven't yet, you do not need to have any knowledge of that game to enjoy Blood Dragon. Officially, Blood Dragon is a standalone expansion. But I'd use the word expansion loosely. What it really is a short-form stealth shooter set in the 80s film version of the year 2007, built entirely in the Far Cry 3 game engine by the Far Cry 3 team. When beginning your Blood Dragon campaign, the first thing you're treated to is a wonderfully old-school Nintendo-esque cinematic, accompanied by pretty much the best soundtrack ever, courtesy of Australia's electronic music duo, Power Glove.
Online. Theta waves at 4 pulses and rising. 4.6 now. It's working. Induce delta. Keep him under 0.5 pulses. Limb actuators online.
The spot-on music has so much to do with how great this game creates the retro-futuristic feel. It also helps that your protagonist is voiced by none other than Kyle Reese himself, Michael Biehn. Then you're plopped down on an island where you're tasked with stopping Sloan. You'll go through one of the funniest quick tutorials I've ever seen.
To look around, look around.
This is not cool.
And then get pretty dirty pretty quickly. If you have played Far Cry 3, you'll notice that Blood Dragon feels very similar. You'll be sneaking behind enemies and taking them out silently whenever possible. You'll be liberating outposts and hunting wildlife if you want. The shooting, driving, sneaking, hunting, and behavior of enemies is Far Cry 3 through and through. And that's generally a good thing. The story missions, though, are much more linear than anything Far Cry 3 threw out there. They basically consist of traveling to a location and participating in a corridor shooter of sorts. Thanks to the futuristic setting, it almost reminds of Deus Ex Human Revolution at times. There are a couple of outdoor missions that allow you to get a bit more creative here and there, but they're certainly not the norm. Most of your time will be spent fending off lots of enemies through hallways. There are side missions available, but they're mild distractions. You might need to go hunting or assassinate someone. And you're also able to liberate outposts a la Far Cry 3, only this time they're much larger and more heavily defended bases. You might find yourself wanting to go through these just as an excuse to spend a little more time in the wonderful atmosphere. It also helps that you can earn weapon upgrades and level up your character, unlocking new abilities. Though, unlike Far Cry 3, Blood Dragon does not give you any options when leveling up. Each level up awards you with a predetermined perk for that level. It's stringent, but it's all in the spirit of keeping it simple, eliminating distractions. I didn't find myself missing the choices. All throughout, you'll be occasionally confronted with the blood dragons themselves, large, menacing creatures that pretty easily plow through anyone in their path. And they also shoot lasers out of their heads, because why not?
Oh shit. Whoa!
So no, Blood Dragon isn't just a cheesy tagline in the title. These guys actually play an ultimately important part in the plot, if you could really consider any part of the plot important. You could easily run through the story missions in about 3 hours. If you stretch out and do some side missions and liberate a few outposts, you could probably stretch this into about 6 to 8 hours. But before you start bitching about how short it is, it's only 15 bucks. That's not a sale or anything, it's priced at $15. That's a bargain and a half for a game with production values this good and oozing with this much style. I've seen $60 games deliver less on all fronts. I did run into a couple of technical hitches with Blood Dragon, but they had little impact on the experience. Rarely, a character might get stuck in an area on the map and be unable to move, but it never happened in a way that would prevent progress. I did have a hard crash to desktop, but it only happened one time that I can remember. And aside from these rare setbacks, Blood Dragon was a smooth ride from start to finish. So here's the bottom line. I'm giving Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon a 4 out of 5. It's a short, sweet, stylish romp for a few hours. It's not presenting any groundbreaking gameplay, but thanks to the Far Cry 3 base, it's solid at every turn. And the idea of setting a game like this in the 1980s version of the future was nothing short of brilliant. It might have been nice to have a few more story missions and a little less linearity, but these are minor gripes. You're gonna appreciate Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon most if you grew up with movies like Terminator or Blade Runner, films from the era that the team at Ubisoft Montreal was clearly targeting for parody. If you didn't, much of the humor in Blood Dragon could potentially go over your head. But even if it does, the pure gameplay in this game, along with its stylish atmosphere, is easily worth the purchase. And come on, it's 15 bucks.
Can you stop it?
I don't know.